We are the Gambling Databases research team, a group dedicated to delivering in-depth analyses of the global iGaming landscape. In each country-specific report, we explore key aspects such as local regulations, taxation, player experience, operator conditions, and emerging trends. Our goal is to provide a clear, data-driven understanding of how the gambling industry functions within each market and, what makes it unique.
And for this report, we are opening the file on a market that represents perhaps the single greatest paradox in our entire database. We're looking at Kuwait.
Paradox is exactly the right word for it. I spent the morning going through the raw data sheets, and honestly, if you were to look at the economic indicators blindly, without even seeing the country name, you would bet the house this is the next big frontier for iGaming. The numbers are just screaming, buy.
They certainly create a compelling first impression. The macroeconomic fundamentals there are stronger than in many established European markets.
Oh, it's not just strong, it's elite.
Yeah.
We're looking at a GDP hovering around, $177 billion. But the stat that really made me sit up was the GDP per capita. It's over $42,000.
Right. That puts them right at the top of the food chain in the Gulf Cooperation Council region.
And when you drill down to the nationals, the actual citizens, the median household income is sitting comfortably between $50,000 and $70,000.
Which, from an operator's perspective, usually signals one thing.
High lifetime value.
Exactly. You have a population with immense disposable income, and, historically, where you find high disposable income, you find a high propensity for leisure spending.
Right. You're thinking VIP segments, high rollers, the kind of players that can sustain a sports book.
Yeah.
And it's not just the money. It's the access. I was looking at the connectivity stats. Internet penetration is at 98%. But get this, mobile penetration is at 105%.
Right, which means statistically, every person owns more than one device.
They're walking around with two phones, or a phone and a tablet. And the infrastructure supporting those devices, it's cutting edge. They're in the middle of a nationwide 5G rollout that's expected to be complete by 2027.
And that 5G point is so crucial. For modern iGaming, especially, say, live dealer products or in-play sports betting, latency is the enemy. 5G solves that. It means the technical environment in Kuwait is ready for the most bandwidth-heavy products out there.
Okay, so let's sum up this on pay-per-view. You've got a wealthy, young population, median age is 32 bucks, spending an average of 7.5 hours a day online with the fastest internet money can buy. It looks like a gold mine. It looks like the perfect storm for a digital operator.
And yet when you turn to the summary page of our report, to the actual gambling databases rating, what do you see?
It's a zero, a flat 0.0 out of 10.
Across the board?
Everything. Operator ease, 0. Player access, 0. Overall attractiveness, 0. It's the lowest score we can possibly generate.
Which is exactly why we're digging into this file today. We have to explain how a country can be so wealthy, so tech-forward, and so demographically perfect, yet be a complete no-go zone for our industry. We are talking about a black hole market.
So let's peel back the layers here. Usually when we see a 0 rating in the database, it's, a failed state or a place with no electricity, a war zone. Kuwait is none of those things. It's stable, it's rich. So this has to be a policy choice.
It's much more than policy. It's the legal bedrock of the nation. To understand Kuwait, you have to stop thinking like a CFO looking at revenue projections and start thinking like a lawyer, or perhaps even a theologian. The barrier here is fundamental law based on Islamic Sharia principles.
Okay, we see Sharia compliance come up in finance all the time, but how does it apply specifically to the penal code here?
It creates a total prohibition. And I want to be really clear about this distinction because we talk about gray markets a lot. A gray market is maybe a place where the laws are old, from the 1950s, and don't mention the internet. So operators exist in a loophole. Kuwait is not a gray market. It is a prohibited market.
So the law explicitly covers online activity.
The Kuwaiti penal law criminalizes gambling in all its forms. It doesn't matter if it's a land-based casino, a sports betting shop, an online slot machine, or a lottery. If there is an exchange of money based on chance, it's criminally illegal.
That makes me wonder about something I see popping up on LinkedIn and some affiliate forums. I keep seeing consultants offering Kuwaiti gambling licenses. If the law is this strict, what are those guys selling?
They are selling fraud, pure and simple. There is no mechanism to apply for a license in Kuwait. There is no gaming authority to submit paperwork to. If a company claims they hold a license to operate in Kuwait, they are lying. Our operator ease score is 0.0 because there isn't even a door to knock on.
So if you buy one of those licenses, you're essentially paying for a PDF that's worth less than nothing.
You're paying to frame a piece of evidence that could be used against you in court. It's a total scam.
Okay, strictly illegal. Got it. But we cover other markets where things are illegal. I'm thinking parts of Asia or even some U.S. states historically, where the offshore industry operates anyway. They sit in Curacao or Malta, they target the players, and they make millions. Why is Kuwait labeled a critical risk in our report?
Because Kuwait has teeth. In a lot of jurisdictions, if you're caught gambling, it might be a civil offense, maybe a fine. In Kuwait, it's a felony.
We're talking actual prison time.
Mandatory imprisonment. The law dictates prison sentences for both the operator, if they can catch them, and the player. And this is where that gold mine demographic we talked about earlier actually becomes a trap.
You mean the expats?
Correct. About 70% of the population in Kuwait are expatriates. They come from India, the Philippines, Egypt, Europe. These are people who likely come from cultures where betting on the Premier League or playing poker is just a normal Saturday thing.
Right, they're away from home, they have disposable income, and they might be bored. In a vacuum, that's the perfect customer profile.
In a vacuum, yes. But the Kuwaiti legal system weaponizes their status. If an expat is caught gambling, the penalty isn't just serving a sentence, it's imprisonment followed by immediate deportation.
Wow. That is a massive deterrent. You lose your job, your residency, your entire life there.
Exactly. It creates a huge suppression effect on the market. But let's play devil's advocate. Let's say you're an operator who doesn't care about the player's risk. You might think, well, I'm safe in my office in Europe. I can just market to them and collect the cash.
The old catch me if you can approach.
The problem is they can catch the transaction even if they can't physically arrest you yet. Kuwait has a very sophisticated enforcement apparatus. You mentioned the 5G rollout.
Yeah, the high-speed infrastructure.
Well, that same infrastructure is used for what the government calls intensive internet monitoring. This isn't just a basic DNS block that a user can easily get around.
So they're doing deep packet inspection.
It's very likely, yes. They are actively filtering and blocking gambling URLs. But the bigger wall, the one that really kills the business model, is financial. We call it the iron wall in the report.
How does that work in practice? If I'm a player in Kuwait and I pull out my Visa card from, say, the National Bank of Kuwait, what happens?
It gets declined. Instantly. The banking sector there is highly centralized and, frankly, very advanced. They strictly block merchant category codes, or MCCs.
And for anyone who might not be on the payment side, MCCs are those 4-digit numbers that classify a business type, right?
Exactly. So gambling generally falls under code 7995. If a transaction comes through the Kuwaiti banking gateway tagged with 7995, the system just rejects it. It's a hard block at the switch level.
Okay, so traditional banking is out. But it's 2026. Surely a tech-savvy user just sets up a crypto wallet, buys some Bitcoin, and bypasses the banks.
You might bypass the initial deposit block, yes, but you run into the on-ramp problem. Crypto is under heavy scrutiny for anti-money laundering, or AML, in the region.
And since gambling is a crime, any winnings are dirty money.
Precisely. They are considered illicit gains. If the authorities can link a crypto transaction, especially a withdrawal from a known casino wallet to a user, they have the authority to seize the assets. Yep, 100% confiscation.
So let me get this straight. If I'm an operator and I somehow get a player to deposit and they win, if I try to pay them out, the government can just take the money.
Yes, which completely destroys the user experience. I mean, why would anyone bet if winning means your money gets confiscated? It effectively creates a 100% tax rate on revenue, if you think about seizure as a tax.
It sounds like a business model just designed to fail. But I want to pivot to the part of the report that really gave me pause. We have a section on personal risk for executives.
This is the section that usually wakes up the board of directors when we present this data.
We aren't just talking about the company losing money or getting a site blocked. We're talking about the people running the company facing real, personal, legal peril.
We rate the risk for directors and executives as critical. And this is something many offshore operators just underestimate. They think, I'm in London or Malta. Kuwaiti law can't touch me.
But the world is getting smaller.
Much smaller. Kuwait has extradition treaties and security cooperation agreements with the UK, India, Egypt, Turkey, and this is the most important one, all the GCC nations.
The GCC nations. So it's the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman.
Correct. Now picture this scenario. You're a C-level exec for an iGaming company. Your company is taking traffic from Kuwait. Kuwait issues an Interpol notice for you. You feel safe in Europe. But then you get invited to a fintech conference in Dubai, or you want to go to the Formula One in Jeddah.
Or even just a holiday with a layover in Doha.
Exactly. You land in a GCC country, your passport is scanned, and a flag pops up. You are not going to your hotel, you're being detained and potentially extradited to Kuwait to face criminal charges.
That is a nightmare scenario. It's not just a fine, it's your personal freedom.
It is. The travel warning in our report is explicit. If your company takes bets from Kuwait, you effectively ban yourself from the entire Middle East.
And for any serious executive today, being cut off from Dubai or Riyadh is a massive career handicap.
And for what upside? As we established, the payments barely work, the player value is destroyed by the risk.
And I assume you can't even market to them to try and build a brand.
Zero marketing. If you try to run targeted ads on social media into Kuwaiti IPs with gambling content, you will trigger their compliance algorithms immediately. You risk getting your entire ad account banned. And the platform itself might just report you to local authorities.
It really feels like they've plugged every single hole. But let's play devil's advocate one last time. We know human nature. People like to gamble. Even with the threat of prison, is there an underground scene?
There is, because you can't legislate away human desire. Our research indicates about 12% of the population engages in some kind of informal sports betting, maybe 10% in private card games.
But this isn't happening on some big international site.
No, this is handshake bets, underground pools, private games held inside homes. It's all peer-to-peer, cash-based, and incredibly risky.
And on the digital side, VPNs.
Some do. But using a VPN to spoof your location doesn't solve the payment problem. And, monitoring VPN usage is standard practice for the ISPs there. It's a high-risk, low-reward proposition for the player.
So if I'm a legitimate business, a publicly traded company, a big European operator, and I'm looking at this market, the answer is obviously stay away.
Stay away is an understatement. For a public company operating in a black market like Kuwait is a massive compliance violation. It could tank your stock price.
And what about the regulators? If I hold a UKGC or an MGA license, do they care what I do in Kuwait?
They absolutely care. If you're a Tier 1 licensed operator, you're held to high standards.
Yeah.
Knowingly operating in a jurisdiction where the activity is a criminal offense, it puts your Tier 1 license at risk. You're jeopardizing your core, safe revenue for a market that yields almost nothing.
It's picking up pennies in front of a steamroller.
That is the perfect analogy.
So is there any way to tap into that $42,000 GDP per capita? We have these young, tech-savvy people with money. They want entertainment. If I can't offer them slots, what can I offer them?
You have to pivot. You have to move away from chance and wager and look at skill and purchase. The report highlights a massive opportunity in video games and esports.
Esports makes a lot of sense given the demographics. It scratches that competitive itch.
It's huge in the region. The median age is 32, they grew up on gaming, and the e-commerce market for digital entertainment there is projected to hit $1 billion by 2025.
So we're talking about selling skins in games, battle passes, mobile game microtransactions.
Exactly. If you're in fintech or digital entertainment or casual gaming, Kuwait is a paradise. The infrastructure supports you, the banks will process your payments, the government encourages it.
Because there's no payout. You're not winning money back, you're just buying an entertainment product.
Correct. That's the legal line. As long as money flows one way, for a product or service, it's commerce. The moment money can flow back based on a random outcome, it's gambling. You're in the danger zone.
So that's the strategic pivot. Don't force iGaming. Pivot to gaming.
Our recommendation to any digital business looking at the Gulf is exactly that. If you want to monetize Kuwait, build a game, not a casino.
It's just a fascinating case study because it forces us to check our assumptions. We always assume the technology conquers all boundaries, that information wants to be free.
Right. We tend to think that just because someone has an iPhone and 5G, they're automatically part of the global liberal market.
But Kuwait proves that culture and law can still build an iron wall around a country.
It's a reality check. You can have the fastest internet in the world, but if the fundamental cultural code of the nation says no, then the answer is no.
So, to wrap this analysis up, let's just revisit the scorecard one last time.
Operator ease, 0.0. Player access, 0.0. Overall attractiveness, 0.0.
And the who should enter list?
The list is empty. Or rather, it says in all caps, no one.
Not even the affiliates.
Especially not the affiliates. If you're sending traffic to black market sites, you're not just wasting your time. You are risking global ad account bans. It's toxic traffic.
Well, there you have it. A market that looks like a diamond, but is actually a landmine. Kuwait is a place to admire for its economic success, but for the gambling industry, it's a definitive do not enter.
Save your money, save your reputation, and most importantly, save your freedom. Look elsewhere.
For the full text of this and other country reports, including the risk matrices we talked about and the detailed economic stats, visit our website at gamblingdatabases.com.
And we do have reports on countries that actually want your business, so maybe check those out instead.
A much safer bet. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next report.